Hey, this is Dave Hooke over at Hooke Eckman Realtors and the Dave Hooke team out of South Central Pennsylvania. This is a business building video blog for agents looking to learn and grow and share things about their business. On today's video blog, we're going to answer the question, why multitasking is a lie and how to work 2 times more efficiently. Stick around to find out. All right, so today's question is, why is multitasking a lie and how can you work 2 times more efficiently? Here's the thing. I almost burnt out of real estate completely about 5 years ago, 2011, 12, 13. I was in client production, doing listings and handling buyers, overseeing property management company, helping my partners with a real estate brokerage and some other things. And I was up to working 70, 80 hours a week, no time off. And I'm sure, if you're full-time in real estate, you can relate. I couldn't figure out how people that were higher capacity could juggle all of the things in real estate. They were doing a lot more than I was doing. And I figured there had to be a reason they were able to do it and I wasn't. And before I burn out completely, I set out on a journey to study and research some of the highest capacity CEOs in the world. And I actually flew to different states to learn about how they manage their time, their day, their schedules. And I want to share that with you today because it's completely changed my life in the last 4 to 5 years. So the first thing is I learned that a lot of the most effective people don't try to multitask. The reality is there's no such thing as doing 2 tasks at once. Study after study have shown that when we try to multitask, we become exponentially less efficient. All our brain is actually doing is something called switch tasking. It's trying to go back and forth between 2 tasks at once, and when it does that, it loses time. Every time it switches, it loses an incredible amount of time because it has to refocus on doing the new task diligently. So just to do an experiment, I want you to try to do the ABCs and count to 26 at the same time. So it has to be A1, B2, C3, D4, E5, F6, G7, H8, is that right? GH, I9. All right, I'm not so good at it. So just give it a try, maybe after the video. Set your timer and do that activity and see how long it takes you. Then I want you to do the 2 activities separately. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. And time yourself doing that. If you're like 99% of the population, you're going to do the second activity faster than the first. For some people, particularly if the activities are complicated, that wasn't very complicated, but if you do complicated activities, they'll do the second activity when they focus on them individually 2 or 3 times faster than trying to switch task, or what they call multitasking. So here's the deal. All day long in real estate, we're one of the few industries that is asked to juggle 15 different balls. We're asked to be good at negotiating, prospecting, generating business, marketing, professional photography, showing properties, setting schedules, budgeting, accounting, did I say marketing? Administrative tasks, focus work, organization, knowledge, just practical knowledge and representation, and to some aspect understanding, different legal things. And so all of that stuff, we throw that in a bucket. And the reality is most industries are far more specialized. And so when we're faced with an industry where we have to learn a lot of different things, and things, there's a barrage of inputs coming to us all day long on text, email, call, all of that kind of stuff, we can get stuck thinking we're being super productive by multitasking, when in fact, all we're doing is asking our brain to switch task. And so if we have just proven that switch tasking is not the most efficient thing, the question is, how can we arrange our days so that we're not multitasking or switch tasking, and that we're able to do it like we did at the second activity, focus on one thing at a time? Well, it takes a little bit of planning, but it's totally possible, and I've proven it in my own business, and I want to share it with you. So there's 2 things that we need to learn, and we need to put some emphasis to develop the skill set. The first is time blocking, and the second is activities chunking. So time blocking, you've probably heard of that. Many people in our office practice it. Is the action of scheduling blocks of time in our calendars to work on certain activities. And so it's important that a week or even a month in advance, we schedule the activities that we know that we need to do in order to get our work done. And we can put those on reoccurring if you use a mobile device or a Google Calendar. You could do a reoccurring event, and that activity will show up on repeat in your calendar every week or every day or whatever you want to do. Most people schedule activities with appointments, people that they're going to meet. The key to time blocking is to just do that with everything. So in my calendar, I have time blocked every evening at 6:30 to spend time with my family. And I know that I can't encroach on that time with activities that are not focused on my family. I know that in the morning I'm going to do devotions, and you know, in the evening at 5:15 I'm going to go work out. And so those things are all scheduled, you know, for 10 years into the future. I'm never going to stop doing those things. In between, I can schedule things that require me to prospect or market my business, things that I know are important but not urgent. I wouldn't normally schedule those. Normally we schedule those important things in the morning when we're most alert. And then lunches, of course, and then all of the vacant space can be for appointments. And so when somebody asks for our time, we're able to say, no, I'm already committed at that time. It may just be that I'm committed to time with my family, but I'm able to just say with integrity, I already have an appointment in my calendar. So would the following 3 times work for you? Just that action, taking that activity and taking the activities in our life and scheduling them in our calendar, even the appointments with ourselves, putting them on reoccurring, and then seeing the white space where we can take appointments with clients will take us from being run by our business to running our business. And we'll be able to say with integrity, no, I'm already committed at that time, but would these times work for you? Which is incredibly freeing if you now can put people in different time blocks as opposed to, you know, meeting them at every whim and on their schedule. Number 2 is activities chunking. Activities chunking is the process of taking like-kind activities and chunking them together in time blocks. So one of the most basic rules about this is that when we go about our day, we usually have a laundry list of activities that we need to do. We often write them on notepads or post-it notes or back of the napkins or whatever your system is. And they're all different activities. Some are errands that we need to run, turn off the lights at that listing, or go put the lockbox on that property. And some are different types of activities, such as call returns or email returns or doing a CMA or something like that. The key to activities chunking is to throw your post-it note away, and anytime you have a to-do or an action you need to take, you go to your calendar. And the way to set the calendar up in the beginning is to know that there's 3 ways of doing an activity. You're either going to use your phone and call or text, use your email and delegate that activity or send a message to someone, or you're going to do it yourself, which is going to take your time. And so every day in your calendar, you should have a 1 hour or 45-minute time block for calls somewhere in your calendar, and a 45-minute to an hour time block for emails, reoccurring somewhere in your calendar. You know that you're going to have to spend time every day returning calls, returning emails, and doing actions on your post-it note previously that are email driven or call driven. And then beyond that, if you can't do the action in email or call, you're going to need to schedule the time, 30 minutes, to go turn off the lights at that listing in your calendar, because that's going to take your time. And so now that you have the reoccurring events, email and calls, in your calendar blocked out, anytime you have an input or a to-do, do this, do that, you can determine when it's due and the type of thing that you're going to do it with, email, call, or your time. And you can simply go to that day on your calendar, open up that event. In this case, it might be call the appraiser. Open up the calls event tomorrow in your calendar and type in the notes, call the appraiser, and then save that event. If on Wednesday or Thursday you need to turn off the lights in that listing or turn on the lights in that listing, you'll go to that day and put a 15-minute event in, appointment with yourself. It said turn on the lights in that listing, because that's going to take your time. If you have a email that you need to return, or you can get something done via emails, you know, in front of your computer, you can just open up the email time block 2 days from now and put a note to yourself to do that action via email. Then every day when you wake up, you have 5 or 6 action items embedded in the event called email. You have 5 or 6 action items embedded in the calls appointment that you already set for yourself. And then you have your time blocks for the family time, for the time with yourself, for the workout time, and for your appointments that have come in, you know, the day and weeks before with your clients. That way, all day long, you're managing your time blocks and you're putting like-kind activities in every block of time. And your brain will no longer be asked to switch tasks. It will just focus on one type of activity. When you open your calls event, you'll just do calls and texts. And when you open your email event, you'll just do email and computer activity. And then the other activities will require your time, so you'll just be focused on that. At the end of the week, month, and year, you'll save an extraordinary amount of time doing your work like this, and you'll be far more efficient for you, for your clients, and for your family. I hope this was helpful. If you have any tips or tricks or questions about this or anything else, I'd love to hear from you. Reach out to the information below, and we'll talk to you soon.